You are Locked On Giants Postcast, part of Locked On Sports San Francisco on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yo, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Locked On Giants Postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. You may know me as the former producer for the Murph and Mac Morning Show on KMBR. And today, Logan Webb wins the Battle of the Aces against Valdez as the Giants close out the Astros with the 5-3 win at Oracle Park and take the series 2-1. They've been really good in rubber matches this season as they improved to 6-1 in these types of games. The Giants turned a scary moment in the fourth inning into a rally that ultimately was the difference in this one. We'll break it all down, but first, I want to thank all of you for watching us on the Locked On Sports San Francisco YouTube channel. Please, if you aren't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button right now. Thanks also for listening on the Locked On Giants podcast feed. Make sure to check out the Locked On Giants Daily Show for more in-depth coverage. Ben Kaspick does a great job. And today's show is sponsored by eBay Motors. From brakes to exhaust kits and beyond, eBay Motors has over 122 million parts to keep your ride or die alive. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to bring home that big win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit only available to U.S. customers. And as I just said, it was a battle of the aces today. Logan Webb versus Framber Valdez. Valdez has been having a down season by his standards for the Houston Astros. I mean, he's a very solid pitcher, has been for years down there in Houston. I had him on my fantasy baseball team a couple years ago, and he was amazing. I know everyone loves to hear about each other's fantasy teams, but Valdez, man, this season 3.53 ERA. He's 5-3 on the season, over 10 starts. That was coming into this one. And he got roughed up a little bit by the Giants offense, which was shocking to me, to be totally honest. This offense has been terrible recently. Last night, 3 hits, man. This offense looked lethargic. They only had 2 guys get into scoring position. One of them was just a Brett Wisely home run, so I don't know if that counts as him being in scoring position, but only 2 runners touched second base for the Giants last night, and today much different for the Giants offense. They touch up Valdez for 8 hits and 5 earned runs. He only got 1 strikeout on the day. Valdez, his ERA ballooned almost a whole point. He's up to 3.99 ERA after this loss. And the Giants, let's get into it. In the second inning, they had a chance after a Soler walk and a Wisely single, put them in business with just 1 out and a runner in scoring position. Tyro then hits into an inning-ending double play. A very, very rough series for Tyro Estrada. He went 0-for-4 today with a strikeout. Tyro went 0-for in this series versus the Astros, and he's been playing pretty well. So, I mean, that's officially a slump now for Tyro Estrada. He can join the likes of Wilmer Flores down there, who's not really doing a whole lot offensively for the Giants lately. I mean, he did have an RBI today, but a lot of Giants are really struggling offensively. Ramos has quietly been hitting a slump of his own as well, even though he also did pick up an RBI today. As I said, the Giants failed to score a run in that bottom of the second inning. Then in the top of the third, the Astros get a runner on as Trey Cabbage. Any chance I get to say this guy's last name? I mean, where did this last name come from, man? Like, origins of last names are pretty interesting to me. Just kind of a weird thing. Cabbage, man. Where the heck did this last name come from? Just some farmers, some cabbage farmers, like 500 years ago, just decided that was their new last name. Anyways, Trey Cabbage singles, but Logan Webb picks him off at first base in a phenomenal move over to first by Webby. He was so quick with getting his foot off the rubber, stepping off the rubber, not really wasting any movements with his arm action. And he got that ball right where it needed to be. If it wasn't perfectly placed to Wilmer Flores, like right where Wilmer didn't even need to move his glove, where he caught that ball, ended up being right where the tag needed to be. Can't draw it up any better than that. Great pickoff move by Logan Webb. Something that's very underrated about his game, I think. He's been doing this pretty solidly throughout most of his career. Webby's got one of the better pickoff moves in the game for a righty. and he got cabbage there. Then in the third inning, the Giants get on the board, give Webb some run support after a Mike Yastrzemski leadoff single. Austin Slater, man, another big game from Austin Slater. This guy was the catalyst for the Giants offense today, which is something that we just, a couple times in the last week now, Austin Slater has been a focal point of a Giants win. I know everybody who really hates Farhan is sitting there like crying on the inside, but just trying to be happy for their Giants win. Man, it's a tough look when you're rooting against your own team, man. But I'm happy for the guy. I'm happy that he's playing well again. You think that walk-off that he had a couple nights ago really boosted that confidence? Just look what he did today. After that Yaz leadoff single, Slater bunts his way aboard with the third baseman playing very far back and Valdez not being the best athlete as a pitcher. Slater headsy play and runs pretty well, gets the Giants first and second with nobody out. Ramos productive ground out moves the runners over, and then a Wilmer Flores sac fly scores Mike Yastrzemski, and the Giants take a one run lead, doing exactly what we talked about last night that they have been really lacking this season, and that's manufacturing runs. Austin Slater bunting for a base hit. Sack flies. He stole a base later in this game. These are each one of these things we talked about last night as the Giants needing to add these weapons that they can utilize to their repertoire offensively, because they have been really bad. I don't need to tell you guys that they have been terrible offensively. Can't score runs, can't hit with runners in scoring position, can't even get runners into scoring position in a lot of these games. You need to find a way to score runs other than just sitting back and getting base hits, extra base hits, home runs. You need to do other things. Today, the Giants and Austin Slater specifically did that. The bunting, the stealing of bases, sack flies. This is how this Giants team can score runs. And it's small ball, but small ball adds up. They got 5 runs today based on playing small ball, man. So the Giants, they score that 1 run after the Wilmer Flores sac fly. Slater moves over to third on that same sac fly. Then Matt Chapman comes up and smokes one over Mauricio Dubon's head, smokes one over Doobie's head. Ha 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 ha. Into center field. The double drives in Austin Slater. Giants take a 2-0 lead in that bottom of the third inning. Already more runners in scoring position by this point in the game than the Giants had all of last night. Pat Bailey then grounds out to end the inning. Would have been nice to keep that going. Just one more base hit would have scored Matt Chapman, who runs really well, but they'll take the 2-0 lead and give it to Logan Webb. Then on the other side, the top of the fourth, the next half inning, Alvarez nearly goes yard to the deepest part of Oracle Park, but hits it off the wall right at that 4:15 marker. Ramos played it really well as the ball kicked away from Yastrzemski, and Ramos was right there to field it and keep Alvarez to just a double with 1 out. Then with 2 outs, a ground ball to the right side of the infield. This was a mistake by Wilmer Flores. He ranged way too far away from the bag at first base to try and field that ball. That was the second baseman's ball that was Tyro Estrada's play, 1,000%. And because of that, Wilmer ranges way too far away. Logan Webb, not expecting to cover the bag, gets a late break on coming over to first base. Webb's got to be a little bit better at that, though. You got to, every single time there's a ground ball on the right side of the infield as a pitcher, your first move is to go towards first base every single time. And Logan Webb, that slight hesitation cost them a run here. And it's not just on Webb. Obviously, Flores should have just let that ball go in the first place. Just off the bat, Flores should have gone right back to first, and this inning would have been over. Lo and behold, Flores fields the ball. Webb gets the late break. The runner beats Webb down the line. Alvarez scores from third base on the play, and as he had moved over with a productive out on the play before, limits or shrinks the Giants' lead to just 2-1 on a run that shouldn't have scored. And Webby was clearly frustrated. He got the strikeout to end the inning. You saw him turn and yell at Wilmer Flores, and I think that's very indicative of how close these Giants' margins are in wins right now. I think he's sitting up there knowing he's probably not going to get maybe one more run of run support. That's probably Logan Webb's thought process in that moment, is he's probably going to have to pitch with a 1-run lead for the rest of this outing. And you know that Logan Webb has been doing this his whole career, but how frustrating is it to time and time again not be able to get any run support, to have your defense let you down like that? It didn't go as an error, obviously, as there wasn't like a fielding mistake or a bad throw on the play, but it essentially was a mental error that cost the Giants a run. That's going to get Logan Webb heated every single time. Giants, though, in the bottom of the fourth inning, come back with a huge emotional inning. Soler starts it off with a line drive base hit down the third baseline. Soler had a very nice day at the dish today. We'll get that. We'll get into that a little bit later on in the show. Wisely then comes up and smashes one to center over Dubon's head, but the ball bounced over the wall for a ground rule double. If it doesn't go over the fence, if it stays in the yard, Wisely might even have a triple on that play. Soler is for sure going to score on that play, even with his, let's say, limited speed on the base paths. He still probably would have scored on that play. Instead, the Giants have runners at second and third, nobody out, with Thairo Estrada up, who, again, was hitless in the series, and he struck out. It seemed like at that point, the Giants were just going to kind of have another wasted inning with runners in scoring position. But then Mike Yastrzemski comes up, and Framber Valdez damn near takes out Mike Yastrzemski's orbital bone in his eye, and it breaks his entire face with a ball that almost hit him square between the eyes. Instead, it bounces off the bill of Mike Yastrzemski's helmet. Very, very, very scary play. You saw Mike Yastrzemski was angry, and the entire Giants dugout, the tone, the attitude, the vibe of it all changed. Everyone became much more serious, much more stoic. I mean, I don't think Valdez intended to buzz Yastrzemski like that. I don't think anyone's ever in today's baseball really throwing at people's heads anymore. That part of baseball has kind of gone away more or less within the last few years compared to what it used to be. But man, that was a scary play. Glad he was okay. But point blank, you can't be buzzing a guy that close to their face. That is some scary stuff. But the next batter comes up is Austin Slater, and with the bases loaded and one out, he flares one out sort of the right center field gap, and it was a great piece of hitting. It was a good pitch by Valdez, 95 below the knees, and Slater went down and got it, shot it into the right center field gap. You clearly motivated by that pitch that nearly killed Mike Yastrzemski. Slater, however, 310 lifetime with bases loaded, batting average before the at bat, scores 2 runs. Giants take a 4-1 lead. Mike Yastrzemski gets to third on the play. Then with one out still, Ramos comes up next with a sac fly to score Mike Yastrzemski, give the Giants a 5-1 cushion, and Logan Webb did the rest. By the way, Austin Slater did come up with a steal in that inning as well before it was over, doing all the things we talked about last night that the Giants need to do to get better at manufacturing runs. Then in the bottom of the fifth, Giants had another opportunity to with the runner in scoring position with Thairo at that, and he another ground out. So Thairo really struggled in this one. This could have been a lot different game if that fourth inning hadn't have gone the way that it did. We would have been talking about Thairo really dropping the ball in this series, in this game in particular. In the sixth inning, the Astros get a couple runs back. Bregman singles and Alvarez hits a bomb, man. That is 14th home run of the season, and it was on a great pitch by Logan Webb. It was a changeup low out of the zone, but Alvarez went down and got it with this weird off-balance swing, and still 106 off the bat, 405 feet. This guy is just a monster. If I could go out and pick one guy in all of baseball to put on the Giants, I know there's a lot of good players, a lot of good hitters out in Major League Baseball right now. Obviously, Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, tons of other guys out there that the Giants have tried to get. Bryce Harper over the years. Yordan Alvarez, for my money, might be the most scary hitter in all of baseball. This guy, there's nothing that is out of the zone, out of his zone. You know what I mean? Like the pitch can be out of the strike zone, still a home run ball from Yordan Alvarez. This guy, again, is 14th home run of the season. Yordan Alvarez is just, this guy is unreal. This guy, next level talent. He's also got 16 doubles on the year. That double he hit earlier in the game was 16th of the year. This guy's just an extra base machine. After that, though, that was all she wrote for either team's offense. Both bullpens came in and did a really great job. The Astros reliever who closed out this game, Dubin, went 2 innings, 5 Ks. That guy was dealing, but it didn't matter. The Giants had already done all of the damage they needed to do. Ryan Walker comes in, Rogers comes in, and then Doval in the ninth. He strikes out Mauricio Dubon to end the game. A little bit of payback for the Giants against Mauricio Dubon, who's talking all that mess last year after he went to the Astros, and it's hard to hate him, though. if I'm being honest, I kind of would have liked to play for Dusty Baker over Gabe Kapler myself. So I don't really blame Dubon for feeling the way he did. Of course, we don't like when any former Giant goes somewhere else and says negative things about the Giants. So that's, grounds for fighting words. And Duvall, after he struck out Dubon, did you see that big old smile on Camilo Duvall's face? I mean, I think that was, I think that strikeout was a little bit extra sweet for Duvall, and he had no drama in that last inning. Nice, clean inning for Camilo. We've all needed that. He's needed that. And to just add the little oomph of having your former teammate who left and talked a bunch of mess about you once he went to the Astros, to have that guy be the final out of the game that you get in this series win, feels good, man. Feels good. The Giants 2-1 series win over the Astros. They got some more work to do. They got the Angels coming in on Friday, off day tomorrow. Need to keep winning games against these sub 500 teams. With the win, the Giants are now 34-35. Here we go. Sound the alarm again. They have the chance to climb back to 500 in their next outing. Can they do it? The never-ending climb back to 500 for the San Francisco Giants this season. We got to take a quick break, but on the other side, we got to get into a lot more stuff from this game. Logan Webb pitched great again. He is building his all-star resume. In Jorge Soler, he had a pretty good day at the plate, man. Maybe this is, we keep talking about it, man, but maybe this is finally the time where he gets out of this slump a little bit. We'll explain more on the other side of the Locked On Giants postcast. Taking a quick break here. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We'll be right back. Here on the Locked On Giants postcast, we pride ourselves on getting you the latest news for your team, whether it's the offseason, the draft, spring training, or the playoffs, or post games. It's year-round. You know what else is year-round? Collection season from the IRS. Just because tax season is over doesn't mean the IRS will stop coming after you for unfiled taxes. The IRS can garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, and even seize your property. Don't let the IRS target you. Get the licensed professionals and tax experts at Tax Network USA. Go to bat for you. With over 14 years of experience and an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau, Tax Network USA has saved their clients over $1 billion in tax debt. Whether you owe taxes, have complicated matters that require tax planning, or finally hit that parlay this season and need help correctly filing, I hope that's your case, man. Call 1-800-549-1000. Again, 1-800-549-1000, or visit tnusa.com/locked on. See the link in this episode description below for more details. And today's episode is also brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 5 million members. PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. It's just you against the numbers. You pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections for a chance to win 100 times your money. Baseball season is officially underway, and there's no better way to cash in on the action than PrizePicks. Add your favorite players from the diamond to your PrizePicks lineups all season long. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs, take your pick of more or less and add them to your PrizePicks lineup today. You can now win 100 times your money with a baseball-only lineup on PrizePicks. If you submit a winning lineup featuring 4 Demon Squares, you'll cash in big time on the biggest moments of baseball's early season. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. It's PrizePicks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Welcome back to the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. Today, the Giants get a win with Logan Webb on the mound. He wins the battle of the aces between Framber Valdez and Logan Webb, and it 5-3 Giants win. They improved to 34-35 on the season. A lot of good things from the Giants offense today. We had Austin Slater really come into life in these last week or so. He showed more signs of life today. Slater, man, did work at the plate. 3 for 5, scored a run, 2 ribbies. His batting average now only up to .312. But there was another guy on this Giants lineup who boosted his batting average a couple points today. Jorge Soler he went 2 for 2 at the dish today with a couple walks. This guy was on base 4 times. I think this might be the first time this season that he's reached base 4 times in one game. He did score a run as well. No RBIs for Soler. But man, that was good to see. I mean, he did have that one line drive down the third baseline. That one that he got, he really made solid contact with the ball on that one. And then the 2 walks, though, that's really important to for this guy. This is a guy who has not been seeing pitches very well. I mean, if you've watched his at bats, which I know a lot of you have, because I've heard a lot of you complaining, moaning, screaming, myself included, about how bad Soler has been this season, just swinging and missing at pitches that are like a foot out of the strike zone, like not even close, like sliders that end up like would have hit the batter on the other side of the box and started outside of the strike zone. He's still swinging away, flailing at these pitches. Today, he did not do that. Soler working deep counts, drawing walks, and coming up with a couple hits. That other hit that he came up with, a little blooper that, I mean, how many times have we seen his bloopers just hang up in the air until someone runs underneath him this season? So when you start getting right, you need some of those hits to fall for you. And that's you need some good luck as well. Because Soler, as we talked about against the Diamondbacks, he had a couple hits that were robbed, like at least 3 hits in that series that were just taken away by Suarez himself over at third base. Soler has been hitting the ball really good when he can pull it down that third baseline. He's hitting a lot of line drives right around third base, right over the third baseman's head in that part of the yard. And if he can start just placing balls right over the third baseman into left field, that's a way to get him going at the plate. You're going to also need some, like I said, some of those bloopers to fall. They did today. Soler, hopefully this is what gets him going, man, because the Giants, they need some consistency offensively. We've been saying this for so long, but when they win, when the offense shows up, it's a different hero every day. Today, it's Austin Slater. Matt Chapman did his thing too. He contributed with that timely double. And Brett Wisely, another 2-hit day from him. He scored a run as well. Wisely's batting average at 317 now after today is OPS at 800. That's pretty good, man. Ramos 0 for 4. His average still up over 300, 305, and his OPS at 885. So, I mean, when these guys, when Ramos goes 0 for 4, when Estrada is 0 for 4, when Bailey is slumping the way he has been, he did come up with a hit today, but yeah, Pat Bailey has not really been coming up with those clutch hits that we've really seen from him in the beginning of the season. He's really kind of taken a back seat offensively since he came back from the IL. No Michael Conforto today. He's been slumping as well. It needs to be a different guy every day for this Giants offense. I mean, you have to. You don't have a single guy in this lineup you don't have a Yordan Alvarez. You don't have even a Altuve or a Bregman in this lineup. I mean, the Giants' most consistent hitter has been Matt Chapman. As far as guys who have played the whole season, Matt Chapman's kind of been the one guy who's come up with these extra base hits in key moments. And he's only batting 326 on the year. So that's not very consistent, man. You got to have a different guy every day step up for this Giants lineup until they go out and get a big bat. And I've been a big advocate for them making a trade to go bring somebody in. I still think they need to do that. Days like today, I mean, this isn't something that you can replicate every single day. Austin Slater isn't going 3 for 5 at the top of your lineup every single day. Jorge Soler is not getting on base 4 times every single day. So you got to find ways to improve this offense. I really think that they need a big bat to add to the middle of this order. It'll help everybody. This lifts guys like Matt Chapman, Wilmer Flores, Elliot Ramos. They will see more pitches. If you put a big bat in the middle of the lineup that they got to pitch around, I'm not saying the Giants are going to go get Yordan Alvarez. That guy's pretty much untouchable for the Houston Astros, I'd imagine. But they got to make a move. They got to go get someone and add something to this lineup because, again, this isn't something you can replicate every single day. What you can replicate is the small ball that the Giants played today. The bunts, the steals. Austin Slater did a lot of that himself, but the rest of this lineup needs to start doing those things too. The Giants need to score runs however they can. They've really struggled in scoring runs. Today you got 10 hits. That's not going to happen every day. The Giants also drew 3 walks today. Need to start drawing more walks in general. In a game where you get 10 hits doesn't really matter, but in a game like last night where you only had three, those three walks could have been a big deal. Could have been a really big deal. We got to take a quick break here, but on the other side, we got to talk about Logan Webb, man, and his all-star bid. Whoever the Giants all-star is going to be, they got to have one. Them's the rules of baseball. Who's it going to be, man? There's going to be one of them. It was going to be Lamont Wade Jr. Very likely was going to be him before the injury. Now, I don't think it is. Who's it going to be? We've talked about some relievers, maybe. Let's look at Logan Webb's case for the all-star bid on the other side of the Locked On Giants postcast. Going to take a quick break here. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We'll be right back. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Welcome back to the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. Today, Logan Webby gets his sixth win of the season over the Houston Astros. The Giants improved to 34-35 with the win, and Logan Webb improves his win-loss record to 6-5 with the win today. Webby went 6 innings, gave up 7 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, 5 strikeouts, and the 1 home run to Yordan Alvarez, which, that shouldn't even count as a home run against Logan Webb. That should just be like, there should be some other category for that when you make a great pitch and a dude just absolutely demolishes the ball still. That shouldn't be a negative thing for Logan Webb, man. That was a great pitch that he made, but I digress. Logan Webb has been really good for the Giants this season, and it's typically around this time of year that we start to see him really, really lock in on the mound. He had 83 pitches tonight. He's making his case for the All-Star game. I think he could have probably come out for another inning, but as we've talked about, Bob Melvin has had a pretty tight leash on some of these starters lately. Logan Webb's been really the only guy to pitch in the 7th inning effectively this season for the Giants. But today he did it a lot. How he's been doing it all season long with the sinker changeup combination, sinker, 2-seam fastball, whatever the hell you want to call that pitch. That's his bread and butter, man. That was by far the majority of his pitches today. Only threw 18 pitches that were not sinkers or changeups. So Logan Webb, 27 changeups, 38 sinkers on the day. Keeping hitters off balance, and he really did a lot of work with that changeup. It was good to see the only really positive things the Astros did against that changeup when Logan Webb was on the mound today was that Yordan Alvarez bomb, which I still don't know how he hit that pitch out of the yard. But Logan Webb, he lived in the strike zone decently well. 43 pitches in the zone, 40 out of the zone, but most of them were pretty close. It was a good outing for Logan Webb. And this year, man, as I said, he's starting to ramp up and turn into that ace that we know and love. He's 7th coming into this one. This is all stats prior to the start of this game. 7th in the National League in ERA amongst starting pitchers. He was just 5-5, now 6-5 on the season. His ERA after today is 3.02. So that ERA did go up a tad after today, but still pretty nice. Still right around 3. If he could get it below 3, I think that really helps his case for the All-Star game. He's thrown the most innings pitched of all starting pitchers of all pitchers this season. Logan Webb has been a real innings eater in a rotation that has really lacked depth from starting pitchers this season. I think that's something that needs to be rewarded, honestly, because he is the guy who is, so much pressure is on this guy every time he steps on the mound. The Giants have been losing a lot of games. The pressure is for Webb to stop a losing streak seemingly every single time he comes on the mound. Every single time that he's up there, he's not getting run support, and he's having to pitch in really tough situations, pressure-packed moments all the time. And he's doing this at a very high volume. As I said, the most innings of all starting pitchers, which is kind of indicative of some of these other things. If you're bringing up counterpoints to Logan Webb making the All-Star team, you're going to point to the fact that he's given up the second most hits amongst starting pitchers coming into this one, probably has the most given up now. But that's how he pitches. He pitches to contact, and he's also pitched the most innings. It kind of makes sense that he'd give up the most hits if he pitches the most innings, and he's a guy who pitches to contact. He's only given up, despite pitching in all those innings, has only given up 28 earned runs in just 4 home runs on the season. He's actually, with the 3 today, he's given up 31 earned runs and 3 home runs on the season. He's now got 80 strikeouts. It's top 15 in the National League for starting pitchers. So only 20 walks for Logan Webb. Webby didn't have any walks in this game. No walks, 5 strikeouts. It's what he's been doing all season long. High strikeout rate, low walk rate. His batting average against is relatively high. 2.55 batting average against, and his whip is 1.19. So over 1, not the best for a guy who's an ace starting pitcher. But point being, Logan Webb, a lot of these things that people are going to point to as negatives about his stats this season really aren't negatives. They're just a byproduct of how much he's been pitching. And the fact that he's been doing this, carrying this Giants pitching staff, the starting rotation, despite the fact that he still doesn't get any run support, despite the fact that every time he's out there, it seemingly seems that he's got to stop a losing streak, and he's got all this pressure on him every single time, and he knows it. It's not like Webb is unaware of what's going on. He's been in this role pretty much since he got on the Giants, a couple of years ago. He's been doing this. So Logan Webb, I think right now, I think he's really, it's between him and Ryan Walker in my mind as a toss up for who's the all-star with this team. And if it's going to be a toss up between Ryan Walker and Logan Webb, I think we know who's getting the nod. It's going to be Logan Webb. The only issue that might push him out of the all-star game is that there's been a lot of really good starting pitchers that have popped off in the National League this year. I'm talking about Shota Imanaga. I mean, there's been so many guys. Ranger Suarez has like a 1.80 ERA or something like that. Just insane for the Phillies. Obviously, Zach Wheeler. So there's a lot of really good starting pitchers in the National League. Might not be enough room for Logan Webb to sneak in there with all of those guys, because who do you leave off if you put Logan Webb in? So Webby making a case, he's got the stats, I think, to give him the all-star nod. If he has 1 or 2 more really, really good starts where he goes seven innings or more and pitches like he did today, I think he's going to get on that team over a guy like Ryan Walker, who we saw Ryan Walker today pitch pretty well too. He had a nice clean inning, did give up a hit, but immediately got a double play to get that runner off base that he put on. So right now, if you make me pick, it would be a really tough choice between Logan Webb and Ryan Walker, but I think based on just the notoriety, Logan Webb will probably get a few more votes than Ryan Walker, I would imagine. That's about all the time that we got for you guys today. We're a little bit over time, so we got to get on out of here. Off day for the Giants tomorrow before the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. What a dumb name for a baseball team. Where are you actually from, man? Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. My God. I can't even explain how much that bothers me, and has since they made that change. Anyways, the bad putrid Angels, who no longer have Shohei Ohtani, will be coming into Oracle Park. The Giants need to win that series. The Angels are a bad team. The Giants need to win that series. I'm hoping for a sweep. I really am. If they could sweep this game before starting their next road trip, which, by the way, next week is going to be a very big week for the Giants, as the Giants and Cardinals play at Rickwood Field to honor the Negro League, and Willie Mays himself. This is going to be a really huge moment for the Giants season, for all of Major League Baseball. So you're not going to want to miss out on that next week. We still got a little ways to go. We still got to get through the Angels and the Cubs before we get there. Angels come to town next, and the Giants, as I said, need to win that series, look to sweep it. I think that they got to have that mindset. That's all the time we got for you guys today on the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. Hope you guys enjoy the off day tomorrow. I'm gonna go head up the California coast, go up to Sea Ranch, and hang out up in the redwoods, just vibe out by the beach. It's gonna be nice, man. It's gonna be nice. Hope you guys get to do something fun with the off day tomorrow as well. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Peace.